Welcome back to the channel, guys. It's Irad, and so today we are going to react to a Morphologis video, which was made during the Free Fly event, and here more things that Star Citizen sabotages itself with the new player sale. That's going to be an interesting take here. I don't agree. When I see this title, I don't agree, but I want to watch this video with an open mind and see why Morphologis says that.
So I was browsing the website for the new Foundation Festival that's going on right now, which is a free fly event that gets veteran players involved, helping out new players for some in-game rewards, and I found this little gem buried in the sale page for the event.
By the way, speaking of the Foundation event, let's go back to our poll here. The Foundation event, which wasn't very popular, at least in my community, because we had 606 votes here, and people said no at 76% when asked if they would guide other players during Foundation Week. So yeah, that was not really a big success, I think. But anyway, let's keep on watching Morph's video here.
It's called the Ready for Anything Career Kit, and it's on sale for $10.
It's a lot of money for what it is. I mean, you got a multi-tool, you got a mining attachment, you got a nice backpack with a unique color, I believe. I don't think I've ever seen this white backpack before. It exists in yellow, but in white I've never seen it before. But yeah, it looks... come on, it's not a heavy armor. That is 20% armor, right? But you look cool with it, but you're not going to go very far with it. $10? I don't know.
And it's all personal item gear, not a ship, just stuff that your player wears.
But it's not the first time. CIG already sells things like this. It's not the first time that they do that. It's not a new thing. We've been able to buy personal gear like this on the web store for quite some time already.
And it really rubbed me the wrong way. Now, if you guys have watched my channel for a while, you'll know that I'm generally very positive about CIG, contrary to what some of the super white knights in the community might say. The majority of the videos that I've made here on this channel are pretty positive about Star Citizen and CIG because I genuinely love the project and I want to see it succeed.
And that's where I follow Morph here. I have the same problem. I don't hesitate to criticize CIG when there's something to criticize, but overall I love the project, I love the work that they do, and most of I would say 95% of my videos about Star Citizen are positive, right? But still, there are people out there say, oh, Irad is such a hater, he hates the project. Irad is far right, I've heard also. Oh yeah, lots of crazy things on the internet.
Right? But when there's a problem, I have the philosophy of calling it out because you can't get better from people constantly telling you you're amazing.
Exactly, you're not going to move forward if you have a bunch of yes men around you always saying that what you're doing is great. Yes.
Makes mistakes, and in my opinion, this is one of the worst that they've made in recent history.
That is a very strong segment here. I mean, very strong statement, Morph. Very strong.
And let me explain to you why. Now, yes, they've sold a lot of things on the website, and they're well known for selling what's commonly referred to as, somewhat comically, macro transactions, ships that can cost upwards of $2,500 US, and even packages that can go for $40K plus.
Yeah.
So spending...
Yeah, these are not microtransactions, these are macro transactions. That has a really good term here. I've never heard it before.
Gobloads of money from anywhere from a set of armor all the way up to a massive ship is nothing new for people who are familiar with Star Citizen. So
and even if you're in the subscriber club, right, you can even buy for $2 or $3 some glasses or hats, some really silly things. But in the end, you know, these are little streams that make big rivers, right? And if that can help with the project, then why not?
But then you might ask, why on earth would you be upset about this little package for $10?
Yes, more.
This little kit to get people started. Here's what makes me upset about this.
All right.
This is geared towards new players, and the way that it's written together here is marketed very much towards somebody who is excited about getting into the game and wants the chance to kind of experience a little bit of everything in their first experience with Star Citizen.
Okay.
The problem is...
I mean, so far, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if they can milk a little bit more. I mean, it's marketing, right? When your job, when you're doing marketing, Your job is to make money. If they can find a way, someone buys a package for $45 and, they're excited, they want to spend a little bit more, they want to have some nice gear to start with, why not?
That these new players aren't going to know that this type of gear, the stuff that you wear on your body, is stuff that you lose if you die.
And yes, that is correct. Now, is this a good thing or a bad thing? I think that players need to be made aware of that. Now, they don't always lose their gear because eventually there are going to be database resets, right? There's going to be wipe. When there's a wipe, they get it back. They get everything back. But yeah, Star Citizen is a difficult game. In Star Citizen, you die a lot. Sometimes you die, it's not your fault. And that's where the problem is, I think, right? Oh, you haven't seen me stream in ages, Mordors? I stream every week, Mordors. But the thing is that there would be some players who would assume that you would get this gear back, right? And there's no insurance. When you buy that on the store, it doesn't say any insurance. But again, because it's not written insurance, you should understand that you would lose your gear. But new players are obviously not aware of all of those little technicalities, I would say, that it implies when you play Star Citizen.
Even if it's something you've paid for. Now, CIG have talked about for years how they're going to introduce some sort of system to allow you to get this stuff back. And in the interim, database resets have been how people have gotten their gear back, or by playing the CCU game where they melt their stuff and then get it back, which is really not a game mechanic, but a sort of janky workaround to fix the problem that new players are just not going to understand or care about.
Now, in the end, I think it's not a problem. Because what you need to understand is that Star Citizen is alpha. Alpha. It's alpha. I know. It's so annoying to say that. It's alpha, guys. It's not a game yet. It is an alpha version. We are testers. What you are playing when you are playing the game is a tech demo. It's not a game yet. So there are still going to be multiple iterations. If you die, it's okay, because when the game will be released, you will get your gear back eventually. When there's a new wipe, you will get your gear back. Eventually, CIG will figure out a way to get the gear that you buy with real money to be insured so that you get it back by one way or another. Everything is a placeholder still. Mordor's in the chat. Absolutely. So that's why I wouldn't worry about it. What you are doing when you are buying on the store, you are doing a pledge. You are donating money to the project. In return, CIG gives you a perk. Right now, if you buy this, if you spend $10 to get this perk or having that gear that you get, yeah, sure, right now when you die, you lose it. If you have, you die because of a bug, yeah, you lose it too. But you will get it back eventually, right? It's no big deal. It's just some little armor you can buy for very cheap at a store. So come on, it's no big deal.
So then this method of getting it back in game doesn't yet exist. If players lose it, they lose it effectively for good. So what I know is inevitably going to happen with a new player buying this kit along with their starter ship is that they're going to die in the first hour or less playing the game and not really understand why this gear disappeared. And really, how can you expect new players to even know that starting off? The game is already difficult to understand, but the industry standard in general has always been that if you pay real money for stuff, you don't lose it. And in fact,
yeah, but that's the case in games that are finished, which is not the case for Star Citizen. I know people are gonna give me a lot of heat for that in the comment section down below. I understand, but now, I'm not going to say CIG is right or wrong, right? I'm just trying to explain how it is. Are CIG making a quick buck out of those new players who want that gear? Yeah, sure, maybe. But it's also, when you are getting into a project like Star Citizen, you have to be informed. Don't go out there. Don't make decisions that are going to involve financial transactions, even $10, without being aware of what's going on. And it's not like there are no resources out there. There are plenty of YouTube videos that explain to you how it is. There are plenty of streamers out there who can answer your questions too. Be informed.
In some countries, it's illegal to sell items that can be lost for real money in a video game, which is something that CIG is eventually going to have to address if they're not sued before they do. In an ironic twist, what CIG's marketing team have actually done is created an item that's only going to create more animosity towards CIG for not just nickel and diming new players for kit that should probably just be available to anybody who takes the new player tutorial, but
that's a good point. That's a very good point. You do the new player tutorial and your reward is that kit. That would have been a great idea. I like that, right? Also, I think that when devs say that they will have a way to get a gear back, players think it will happen now, but in a sense it happens when there's a priority right. Plus, I think that for that to happen, CIG wants to see also perhaps how server meshing is going to affect how players lose their gear, especially very often the way I lose my gear in a game is when I die and I want to go back to where I died, my corpse, right, has fallen through the floor, or my corpse has somehow disappeared, even with persistent entity streaming. Maybe CIG wants to find a way to I'm not trying to defend CIG here, I'm just trying to find possible explanations, right? The probability Fidelia is curious about if anyone has heard about someone losing it. It would be hard to attach it like a noob. Yeah. Also, I don't think that a lot of new players know how to use the inventory system yet. So maybe they would have died a few times before understanding how this works.
Fact that they can just lose it immediately upon death, which happens again extremely frequently. I mean,
yeah. So this video was released. Let's have a look first. So this video was released 8 days ago, and Deplorable Infidel says that he hasn't heard any complaint about it yet. Interesting. I have not heard any complaint about that too.
Who is a new player to Star Citizen hasn't flown their ship too fast in atmosphere and smashed into the ground, or accidentally fallen through an elevator, or, I don't know, gotten shot by an NPC when they didn't expect it?
But when you fall through an elevator, you get your gear back. If there's a bug that makes you dead at a landing zone at a station, it's stored in the local inventory. So there's already that way here of getting your gear back. But it's, of course, just in that particular case.
I mean, anybody who's played Star Citizen for like an hour will know that Star Citizen is very volatile to the new player, and death is extremely likely, if not guaranteed. So this has got me thinking that whoever's responsible for this, the idea is maybe it was marketing, has no idea what's going on, and it's to the detriment of the game. So if you want Star Citizen to succeed, this is definitely something that I think shouldn't be supported. At least not until there's a solution. When I think
Yeah, that's the point here. That's a good point. Not until there's a solution. I guess that, you never know what's happening right behind the skills. Maybe in the marketing team, there's like an intern, there's a new guy, he wanted to have a good idea of bringing new money, see what they were able to do. I don't know. But it's true that marketing that to new players is a little bit borderline. That I agree. But at the same time, having gear that you can buy on the store, I think it's fine. Right now, yeah, sure, you can lose it, but you'll get it back if there is a wipe. There will be mechanisms to get them back eventually. So I'm not really butthurt, or I don't really have an issue about this. But I understand where this is coming from. Morph is talking with a heart here. He loves the project. He doesn't want the project to get in trouble. He's afraid that some people might not understand what Star Citizen is and the stage it is at now. And Deplorable says he should stick to reviewing architecture. Oh, that is. We have some harsh commentator here in the chat today.
Should have done instead, which would have been a great gesture of goodwill towards new players and just people who've played the game in general, was, like I said, to add this into the new player tutorial as a reward, so that new players starting out get a little bit of everything, so they can get started with some really basic kit that they're likely going to lose anyway within the first hour of play.
and that we can, and that would be likely to buy back anyway at any store, right? Yeah, we should be able to buy those at any store too. But I like the idea of having rewards when you are doing something.
But instead, someone over at CIG saw this as a monetization opportunity and just made things worse. I really hope that CIG, before monetizing things, can also consider how it can be a goodwill gesture to improve the general gameplay experience for everybody. This was one of those times where they failed that test. If at some point in the future they do have some kind of system in game, say something like insurance where you get your gear back for a lifetime if you've bought this gear on the website for real money, then I'll say, okay, this
LTI for gear, I mean, why not? I mean, if they do the same system as with ships when it's like the first month or so, why not?
Starter kit's fine, but for the time being, this being aimed towards new players was a really bad idea, and CIG should take this off the website right away and really seriously rethink who's making decisions over at marketing so they stop making decisions that make them look even worse. Look, I very rarely get upset about things. The last time I did, it was for a certain ship, and they got me
I remember
hot water with a portion of the community.
I actually agreed with Morph on that. I think that the Crusader C1 needs. I don't think it should be nerfed, but I think that when you're using the bomb, you know, it should not be coming equipped with a bomb. But
sometimes
that's
I think things just need to be said. I found that the best way to get somebody to change is not to continue to enable their bad behavior, but to speak honestly with them in the hopes that they'll listen to you at some point and improve and turn over a new leaf. But who knows, maybe I'm just speaking into the ether and nothing's gonna happen and we're just gonna keep going down this path of poor monetization decisions with no consideration for gameplay.
I think we will, I'm afraid. I think we will. Again, as I said, I'm in the middle ground here. I understand his point that it sucks for new players. A lot of new players are gonna have a bad surprise, but on the other hand, I think that it's important to be informed when you're making a decision.
But I really hope that that's not going to be the case. These monetization decisions have far-reaching consequences, not just for turning people away from Star Citizen, but in my view, create more complications.
There may be some disgruntled people who may be turned away from the project because of that. But even Star Citizen does not need to have gear that you can buy on a website to get disgruntled people to leave the project. That has been happening plenty of times before already.
For the future of the game. Specifically, how fair the game's going to be towards people with different levels of income. I would absolutely hate for this to become something like Diablo, where you have to spend gob tons of money in order to just be competitive. Because think about it, how is this going to work in the future with these types of kits when you can get them back through some kind of insurance? Is it just going to make it so that people who've spent real money never have to worry about consequences, where they can just walk into any kind of fight and not worry about the fact that they'll lose everything, whereas the regular player who spent $45 has to worry constantly about paying for their kit once again when they die?
Well, but Morph, you've been playing the game for quite some time. You know how easy it is to get the same equipment. You just need to go to a few outposts, and then you'll get exactly the same kind of equipment for free. Maybe you'll even find the thing from the store in the outpost. I wouldn't be surprised if that's even if that would be possible.
That's not fair. That's not going to make the game fun, for me at least. I know some people will get some enjoyment over lording their income over others, but I certainly don't get that enjoyment, and I'm somebody who spent over $10,000 in the game. Granted, I'm a content creator, but maybe that's just an excuse. But I want to wrap up here because this has already gone longer than I expected. I'm not saying that CIG needs to stop monetizing ships.
Insurance claim points may not be... Yeah, maybe there's gotta be like... That's a good point, Diplo. Maybe there should be something like an insurance office that you would have to go to at the landing zone, and then when you go to this insurance office, then you would get your items back. That could be an idea, and that could be also a way to entice players to go back to landing zones, perhaps, and do things. I like this. It could be a topic for a video, perhaps. I'll think about it.